What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and if you are looking for magic items to use in your D&D 5e campaign, or just to add some to sprinkle in through your various games, or possibly suggestions for your DM to possibly look into giving your character or something like that, I have a great tome for you here, the Tome of Magical Oddities from good friend of the channel, DungeonScribe. By the way, thank you to them for sponsoring this video. Kickstarter launched just a little while ago, still has 29 days left to go, and has tripled the initial funding goal. We're going to go through the Kickstarter, talk about it, and then we actually have some previews of some of the magic items contained inside there, so I wanted to jump in and talk about that. The other thing I wanted to mention is, you might have recognized the name DungeonScribe from a Kickstarter from a couple years ago, which was, let me pull it up, I'll show you guys over here on the screen. Whoops, this is it here. Wondrous items for 5e. This is what we had the last Kickstarter that we reviewed, and you can see this was done mostly in the form of cards, like tarot-sized cards, and the Magical Oddities that you're seeing here is actually a whole book. And I'll be honest, I prefer the book method. Now, I've backed several Kickstarters over years that do cards, whether they be tarot size, playing card size, and to me, just a physical book just feels better to me. I don't mind having the cards, and they can be good for quick references if you're going to hand them out to people at your table. Again, assuming you're doing a physical table. If you're playing online, it doesn't really matter one way or the other. But the book really helps sell it for me. So let's go ahead and, excuse me, take a look through and see what we got. So 500 plus unique magic items, lore and plot hooks, new item types. And then again, you can see the cards are large tarot-sized cards as opposed to traditional playing cards. They have quick reference icons, and again, some art. We'll show you that. Also, this is really important. If you back in the first 72 hours, you get a free Sharp-Edged Arcane Cosmos D20, which this thing looks absolutely amazing. So you've got a couple of days left still because it just launched today, so first 72 hours. So if you jump on it now, you'll get that free die, which, again, who can argue with free stuff? Here is, again, you can see some of the art. And again, here's the book. We'll get into, again, we have, I think, 20 magic items that we can look at. We'll look at a couple of them. And some of them, I think, are definitely filling the void on things that a lot of us have wanted over, the history of 5e. So, again, 500 plus cards. You can see, again, here's a little breakdown of what you're getting. If we zoom in a little bit on the cards. You see you have a rarity indicator, the name, art, and then, again, it has some stuff on the backside as far as, like, a quote, a description, details, a reference number for the card, reference icons, which I like, which means you don't have to sift through the description to figure out, like, hey, does this thing, what does it do, damage? What does it have a DC? It kind of just tells you all that stuff in the high reference icons at the top. So, okay, like, all right, I know that this does, a D6. I know that it has, a DC check, and the DC's 13. I can figure all that stuff out up front without having to sift through the text. And honestly, I know that might not seem like a lot, but when you're trying to keep things rolling forward, anything that can help expedite anything that's happening in your game will be greatly appreciated. There's a lot of really cool extras for this Kickstarter as well, including a coloring book, deluxe handouts, bookmarks, and so on. There's obviously a bunch of dice, and these dice look absolutely beautiful. So let's go ahead and keep getting down into the different tiers. So what are we going to have? We have $25 to get you the PDF. Not a big deal, right? I mean, that's 25 bucks. It's pretty standard for a PDF out there. $60 is the base level that I would always back at myself, because you're going to get the PDF and the hardcover tome itself. Again, nice to have. I like having the physical copies of books. That's just me, but do what you want. For $110, you're going to get the digital deluxe bundle, and I like this has a lot for it if you are somebody who plays online. Not only do you get the digital item cards, the digital PDF, and the digital deluxe handouts, which are full-size handouts that kind of explain things if you have like an item set or things like that. It is also a VTT bundle, and you can see here there's a variety of VTTs on here, Roll20, Foundry, Alchemy, and so on. If that's more your style, this might be the route to go for you. Again, $110. And obviously any stretch goals. There's the Adventurer bundle here for $135. This is going to get you the item cards and a storage chest, as well as the tome and the digital PDF. This is, again, like I said, depends on if you want the cards. This could definitely be a level more to back for you. If you want the whole set of cool dice, $175 will get you the Arcane Cosmos dice, the hardcover, the PDF. the item cards, and this might be the level that I choose to back at because of all the extras. There's a coloring book that has a bunch of the awesome art that you can color in for yourself. You've got 2 enamel pins, you've got stickers, 2 high-quality bookmarks, and again, deluxe versions of all of the handouts. There's the Artifact Bundle, which is $285, which will get you a unique set, the Reforged Relic Dice, deluxe storage box, as well as all of the cards, right? You can see right here, volumes 6 through 10 are the magical oddities contained in this entrance, or this entry, whereas volumes 1 through 5 were the original one that we talked about in this other Kickstarter here. You'll get all of those and their protective tuck boxes, as well as everything else. And then the Super Uber Mega Edition is the all-in bundle for $395, gets you all of the dice, all of the storage, the tuck box, and a cool mimic-looking box to store everything inside, which is pretty sweet. There's one also $1,000 bundle that lets you design your own magic item to include. You'll work with DungeonScribe to make a magic item that'll be available in the book itself. Now, there are some stretch goals. One has already been unlocked, which is Heliana's compatible. So it says the initial goal is a crossover expansion with the remarkable Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting supplement created by Loot Tavern. I think we've done videos on Heliana's Guide in the past. So there's a crossover there. At 50,000, which again only 20,000 away at this point, it'll bring in other favorite creators to make items. I know Haas, aka DungeonScribe, totally awesome dude. One of my favorite things. Excuse me. When I go hit up conventions, he's a super cool dude, and love hanging out with him. So, and I know the people that he rolls with are all really good quality people. So, 50 new items from familiar faces. I can imagine that the people you're going to see here are going to be people that we all know and have done awesome work in the past. We have a deluxe handout upgrade at $75K, 10 additional deluxe handouts, as well as a telescope box. I never heard of that. To the standard and Sage version for storage and protections, and then there's a variety of different add-ons here. This is looking to be delivered, the PDF in May of 2024, and the physicals in June of 2024. So I said there were previews, so there's a 20-page preview that I have here. We can go ahead and take a look. I'm going to just skip down to the ones that I think are really cool, but I did think it's worth noting that there are a variety of things, even some kind of uncommon things like whether they be like bombs or poisons or legendary items, attunement, not attunement. I like this, where was it? The Goggles of Day, because I thought that was an interesting play on the Goggles of Night, a very popular magic item in 5e. So you can see here, uncommon, and then we have a little quote with all of them, right? It says, clarity of vision can define your entire path. And then we have the sort of flavor text. These exquisite goggles are adorned with layers of metal that resemble the fierce features of a bird of prey. Their visage holds 2 shining lenses of aged ruby glass, which have the power to bend light to their will. Originally popularized by hunters and trackers among the steppes and plains, these goggles are renowned for their ability to peer across great distances with ease. While worn, the wearer can see the clarity and focus of a hawk or eagle, spotting even the slightest movements from afar. It says the user is able to see great distances in daylight up to 1 mile away with little to no difficulty, discerning details as though the objects are targeted within 10 feet. And then it has peer through as bonus action for the next 1 minute. The user's vision is unaffected by dim light and lightly obscured areas from naturally occurring sources such as smoke or fog. That's once until the next dawn. And if you have sunlight sensitivity, you're no longer affected by that while wearing these goggles. And then another one I thought was really interesting here was the Laurel of Wisdom. It's just one of these items that's desperately missing from 5e, which is when you put on these Laurel, it just sets your Wisdom score to 19. So again, similar to Headband of Intellect, this does the same thing, except it's for Wisdom. Not a whole lot of craziness here, but this is an item that's needed and necessary, in my opinion. We can see some various different rings and things. Let's take a look here at the Sling Ring, which you can see here. These rings, when worn together, on one hand hold a secret. When tapped together, they generate a band of semi-transparent arcane energy that can be stretched nearly 2 feet before snapping back into place. Rumor abounds the original design was crafted for a young prince that would throw a tantrum when without his favorite toy. This clever device allowed the sling to be hidden in plain sight, and no vase within the palace was ever safe again. The user gains a +1 bonus to damage rolls made with this weapon. Again, it's a pair of rings that functions like a sling the weapon. Shoot your eye out, which obviously is a Christmas Story reference, which is fantastic. As a bonus action, you can peer through the gap between the rings, and the energy will line up their next shot, adding 1d4 to the next attack roll of the weapon. And it says concealable. The user has advantage on dexterity checks, sleight of hand checks to disguise this item on their person. There's obviously a lot more here we can look through, and again, you can see here's what the cards themselves actually look like. The front face of the, face of the card being, and again, you can see the rarities denoted by the different colors here, showing the art, and then the back side of the card showcasing all the information and things you need to know about it. So I'm really excited about this Kickstarter. I'll be backing it in just a little bit because, like I said, DungeonScribe's a fantastic creator, does excellent work, and if you haven't checked out any of his stuff in the past, you definitely should. I'll have a tracking link in the description. Will be pinned a pinned comment as well as the top of the video description. So that's one of those links that if you back it from my link, they know that the people from the channel are the ones that went right over there to do it. So please consider clicking that link if you do decide to go back this. Like I said, you're definitely not going to be disappointed, and because Wizards of the Coast doesn't seem to ever want to give us just a flat-out magic item book, we have to go to third-party, and honestly, more often than not, the third-party stuff is better than first-party anyway. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, and I'll see you all next time.